Guys, let's take a look at the end of our season. Welcome back to the Retro Bowl Alliance Premier League. Fortunately, the Marching Ents made their way through relegation without being relegated. Survived that. Was 2 points away from not being in the relegation bottom 16. But there we found ourselves. Worked our way through it. Happy to say we're still in Premier. But we've got a very potentially difficult off-season here, a draft to go through, because let me show you. We've got some premier players on our team, some key players who are up for contract this coming season. So we're looking at our quarterback, Faramir. We're also looking at Oakenshield. Now our defensive lineman, Finley, I'll show you in a second. He has not performed to what I would hope for a 5-star. It's gonna be hard to consider what we do with him, but then Quick Beam is also due. Quick Beam has been good. He's likely somebody I want to keep, but these dollar amounts are all gonna go up. Faramir's gonna need to get paid. Oakenshield's not likely to increase. In fact, there's a chance because of his age that he could decrease. And then Pippin took the third down there. He's at 24. Likely to stay at 24. I don't think he'll increase. If I'd get lucky somehow that he would go down, but I think 24 is likely to be where he stays. I'm hopeful that that's the case. But to let you know where I am, I'm really interested in increasing our D line. I want to have a premier defensive line. Right now we've got a premier secondary, and I'm just not seeing the results in turnovers. Now, I know that you don't see, here, let's look at Finley, our defensive lineman, for example. In the stats, I wish so badly that it tracked forced fumbles, because that's a key statistic that really turns games around. And I'm starting to see that with good defensive linemen, that creates a turnover seemingly quicker than having great defensive backs. In the old days, you'd get 4 to 6 interceptions from a great defensive back. These days, I don't feel that happens very often. These are premier. These are 5-star defensive backs. And you can see here, in 92 games, 4 interceptions. In 94 games, 3 interceptions. And Hobbit Mary, who was there very early in the game, you can see he's 161 games. He's been with me for, almost 10 seasons at this point. Not quite. I guess it'd be more like 9 seasons or thereabout. So he's getting about an interception per season, average. Whereas I feel you're getting better production from the D-line on fumble recoveries. So that being a stat that doesn't show itself makes it a little bit difficult. But also, when you get a sack by a defensive lineman, like the only real big play, I guess there's a lot of times where you might go 3 and out because your defensive backs are doing really well. But like a sack is a turnover on downs. You get the punt kicked to you. It's not a turnover on downs. You're getting the ball back. And that's the whole key with defense, is getting the ball back as quick as possible. So I'm starting to really buy into the defensive lineman being the key. So I don't want to get rid of Finley necessarily, but he's going to ask for a lot more money because he's a 4.5-star potential with 3.5 stars right now. He's definitely going to ask for more money. I have a feeling Bolden's not going to make it through this. It's only $5 million, but we'll see how that all goes. And Bark, maybe I should start here. This is for my own sake as well. So my linebacker's Quick Beam. He's going to be due. He's a 5-star. Like, this should be a mega producer. Let's take a look at his stats. He's giving me 10 tackles per game, average, a little more than 10. But he's only ever had 1 interception and 2 sacks. Like, the big play doesn't come from Quick Beam. Same with Skinbark. He's not even at 10 tackles per game average. So trying to really refine, not having lots of middle to good players, but having 4 to 5 great players and really watching how they produce. Now, before I do anything, what I do want to do, and I can take them off of this, I want to put these guys so that I can kind of remember their stats into the Hall of Fame. So Finley, even though he never got a name, Beam did get a name. He earned it. Bark, same thing. I'm putting them in Hall of Fame as a statistical reminder to myself. I don't believe that they've made the Hall of Fame yet, but that's in case I have to release them as this off-season progresses, is more or less what those are. And these guys have been in the Hall of Fame, so there's no changing where they've been. These guys are staples to the team. But I'm also going to say it out loud now. I'm considering, like, Mary is a true Hall of Famer in my perspective. He's got 1,700 tackles. Just an absolute staple. He's always getting me 10 tackles. He's got another season in him, but I wonder if at some point I need to consider a trade of one of these stud defensive backs in hopes that I can get a defensive lineman, and that's who Finley is, that I can develop into a great player. Unfortunately, the draft doesn't always produce first-round picks. See, he's still a second-round value, Finley is, and he's played with me, 2 full seasons here under his rookie contract and has not maxed out yet. So it's taking time to get him up to speed. So I don't want to give up on him yet, is the long story on that. And it might require me getting rid of somebody even as exceptional as Pippen took 3, a 5-star. Man, that seems even almost ridiculous to consider. But if I want to go to the next level defensively to stop these runs, this could all be a moot point. This could all be a moot point that by the time I get to my draft here, I'm not going to have salary cap and I'm going to be cutting guys just for that reason alone. But I wanted to look at this and get an idea of what I'm doing. Obviously, Oak, he's going to stick around no matter what. He's getting re-signed. And Faramir has to be re-signed. He's my golden boy right there. 0 speed, which is perfect, and then full stats everywhere else. Dude is just a stud. He's got 3 MVPs in 3 years. He just produces so incredibly well. I need to throw less picks. That's on me. Okay, so there's been a lot of ado, so I'm not going to say without further ado. I guess without further ado. I think it's time. I'm going to look one more time, sorry, at the salaries here. So Gondor at 28. That's Faramir. And Oak at 26. So that's probably not going to move. Faramir's definitely going to go to probably 35. And Finley's going to go up. He's probably going to go to the 18 range. Man, where am I going to make up cap space here? Somebody's going to have to go. Is Quick Beam the guy I cut? Or is Finley the guy I cut? And that's going to depend on what I have available in the free agency, possibly. Okay. I'm not looking forward to this because we have a great team and we're maxed out on salary cap. This is going to be less than fun as we proceed here. And I'm stalling still. Am I missing anything? Is there anything I need to look at before I push continue? Here, just as a reference, barely made it through with a 93 in the playoffs to stay out of relegation. Excuse me. Okay. I put everybody that I should have into the Hall of Fame, right? Yes. Oh, why is he in the Hall of Fame? Oh, because he's got 11. He's got an 11-yard long. That's the longest run by anybody, a Marching Ent ever. That's why he's on there. Tom Baum's got another year. Okay, sorry, just making one last look through here. I wonder if there's a chance Pippen comes down on his salary. Long shot for that, but that'd be great if he'd be willing to take a cut to stay on the team. Okay, not looking forward to it. Here we go. No. Reject. And a new season begins. Get ready. Here we go. Season. Oh my gosh. I did forget something. So I'm going to be getting a new set of coordinators. What a dummy. So just so you know, it's Sunday afternoon to evening already. So I have to do all of this and play 3 games in a matter of a few hours. What a dumb head. Look at that offense and defense, like no stars. So we almost need to do our front office selection of coordinators here first. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to find somebody talent spotter. Instant potential increase for offensive player. I like that. I don't think he has a... No, he doesn't. Positive. Tiredness has no effect on morale. I don't see that as being as important. So I think we're getting Boston Duck. What a name. I kind of like Boston Duck. I don't know if we have the XP or the coach's credit for this. We'll do it anyway. Yeah, talent spotter. Instant potential increase. I like it. Okay. You are hired, my friend. Welcome, Duck. Be Duck. Man, the reason the offense is still so low is because we have a lot of guys to re-sign. Our cap's at 92 out of 200 million. This is going to be rough. All right, defensive coordinator. So this guy is going to have another talent spotter. And a negotiator. Toxic players have no negative impact. I don't see that as important as talent spotter. So we're going for it. Talent spotter it is. Okay. So we just dropped 60 coaching credits because I didn't do something ahead of time. Now we're going to look at our free agents. Please, defensive. Oh, yes. Oh, man. We have a fantastic D lineman who will be impact on day one, but he's a 28-year-old, so he's limited on time he'll be with us. So that's a thought. So if we need to get a defensive back for less money, let's see here. We've got a guy at $13 million who is middle of the pack. I'd almost rather just have 2 5-star defensive backs than have this guy. Okay. Linebacker. Almost a 5-star potential. Not really any better than the ones we have currently. So I think of what I see here, we've got a wide receiver with no stamina, so he's not an option. So we're going to look in the draft for a wide receiver, possibly, to develop under our aging squad. So that's the only players that are coming back. Here we go. This is going to be difficult. This is going to be difficult. Here we go. Why am I this nervous? I'm this nervous. Finley wants 21. Oakenshield went down to 17 million. While Gondor went up to 45. Didn't I say 35? Beams up to 27, took state at 24. Oh, good night. This is going to be difficult. All right. Priority 1. Oak. Welcome back. I like that it's the stamina I can get back. His strength might be depleting as he ages here, but he's close to leveling back up so his stamina can get back up full, and then we'll work toward his strength if need be. Okay. Welcome back, Oak. Yes, we do. Obviously. Obviously. And Gondor. So that's going to be his maxed, I believe that's going to be his maxed out requirement, 45 million. So he's getting paid. He's a 3-time MVP. Good for him. Well-deserved. Well-deserved. But he'll never get to that 50 million that we had with our previous quarterbacks that really hampered us because they were 5-star quarterbacks. So that low speed, which is the best category to not have very high attributes. Faramir, welcome back to the team. Now the difficult choices. Now the very difficult choices, because we've got 46 million remaining, which means 2 of these guys stay and 1 goes. Okay, so the free agent defensive lineman was going to cost us 21 million. Is that right? Should have written it down or something. Oh, Beam, you're not worth 27 million. Finley, you're supposed to ask for 17 million, man. Darn it. He's maxed out. Oh, Quick Beam is. Man, I hate to do this because he's a future Hall of Famer. But I've already got 2 5-star defensive backs. I mean, Pippin Took is he's a man. This is brutal. This is a brutal decision to make because we've got Legolas and Mary, who are both. Everybody's a defensive player of the year at some point. These guys look like twins. He's 32 and aging. Both of them are 32 and aging. So Took is my youngest defensive back. So it almost seems strange to do, but do I release one of these guys, meaning trade them, let's look at their stats back to side by side. So Hobbit Mary, he's been here. He's one of my originals. Not quite original, but very early. I've had him forever. But they're both the same age. Legolas was a free agent. Gosh, this is turning out to be dreadfully painful, and I can't make a decision. Maybe I release Bark to make up 19 million. Maybe I trade Bark. Is that what I do? In order to keep Quick Beam. Let's do some math. I know that's scary, but so what do we have left? Right now we need to have room for 48, 68, 72. We need 72. We have 46. So that means we need 26. So that's not going to work. If we drop Bark, we only gain 19. And if we get rid of Bolden as well, we're still going to be short by 2 million, because that gives us 24. Man, this is a treacherous. Why are you asking for that much, Finley? You're a second value. Second round value. He wants 21 million, and so does the free agent. The free agent who is better than Finley, attribute-wise. Okay. Truth here. All right, here's the truth. Quick Beam is asking too much. Quick Beam is asking too much. I'm going to pause this and see if I can get back and look. I didn't write my statistics down, or write his statistics down. I think he's at about 10 and like 5 sacks. I think I took a screenshot. Hang tight. Okay, so looking back, Skin Bark is barely getting 8 tackles a game. And Finley is actually only averaging a little over 3, not even 4 tackles a game. Finley's got to go. That's too much money for that kind of production. It's just he's not producing, and my free agent has better, and I think he's asking for 21 million, so I can buy some time by getting another free agent. He was older. I do remember he was like 28, I believe. But I don't think I can re-sign Finley. And I've been on the fence with him all 3 seasons, or 2 seasons he's been with us here. I've been on the fence whether or not to give him a name. So I think this is the conclusion. Unfortunately, he's only worth a second round pick. He hasn't turned into what I hoped from being a draft pick that I had high hopes for. But Bark actually has to go. So I think Bark is gone. He's only got 1 sack, no interceptions in the games that he's played with us. We're going to get a first-round pick for him. Not that that means a whole lot these days. But it's like, yeah, there. You can see his stats. Good, not great. And if I can get myself into another defensive, or excuse me, a D lineman. So at the end of this, I'm not going to have a linebacker. I'm going to have no linebackers. And back to 3 defensive backs? Is that what I really want? Brr. They make tackles, they produce. They make tackles, they produce, but they don't get the turnover, which is, spoiler alert. Fortunately, I was lucky enough to win the Elite League, if you guys were aware of any of that going on in the background. In the Elite League during my playoff games, I had, in the Retro Bowl, 2 turnovers that turned into quick touchdowns on my end. And they were both fumbles. Neither one of them were interceptions. So I just consider that to be such a critical part of the game now. I feel like the interceptions come far, far, far less frequently than the fumbles. 20 minutes of me not making a decision here. This is... I wish I could look at QuickBeam and show you QuickBeam's statistics from this screen. You cannot. So QuickBeam, he's a producer. He has, but only has like, I think he's got an interception or 2 in his 3 seasons with me. An interception or 2 and 5 sacks, over 3 seasons. That's not enormous, but he also is making 10 plus tackles. I'm going to pause and think a little bit more. Sorry. Okay, so my decision is made. Finley is not he's not an Ent. He's not a long-term Ent. He's not a Hall of Fame Ent. I'm not going to re-sign him. So the math, the way it works out here is Beam and Took together are 51 million. I don't have that. I only have 46 available. So I'm going to have to go to my roster. Bolden is going to have to be cut to make up that 5 million that I'm short. Rookie did great for me, but from the very beginning, I'm not a running back guy. Wasn't expecting him to be a long-term player of mine. So we're going to start by trading. Going to the Bull Sharks. Going back to, we have 51 million available, and we are going to take, and then we'll let the chips fall where they go here. We're going to be right at 200 million, which means we're going to have to make a cut. But this way, I'm getting who I know I might want. And Finley is not on that list right now. So we'll make decisions once the draft is in full gear here. But on the front end, we're going to take Beam. We're going to take Took. Linebacker or defensive backs, we are loaded. 27 remaining. We're going to take QuickBeam. And with that, Finley does not have a home. So we say adieu to our man Finley, who really did a good job for us. He had some big plays when we needed him, but he just, for the value that he is supposed to have been, hasn't produced what we need. So we're going to reject his request. And we sign Oakenshield. We sign Faramir. We sign Pippin. QuickBeam. And there you have it. We're getting ready for the draft with no wiggle room at all. This happens, it seems like, and it rotates through having a great year with young talent and then having to pay for them. And that's where we are. We're having to pay for talent again. Gondor being the biggest of that chunk of change. And he's a talent worth keeping. So we'll keep going in that direction. If we're going to drop anybody in this process, it's going to have to be Bark and then maybe one of my defensive backs, I think. let's look now that we can at Beam and his stats. There he is. He's over 10. Oh, I was wrong. I said 5 sacks. Only 2 sacks. That's what I have the hardest part with, is he's a tackling machine. Same with my defensive backs. Man, this is hard. This is really difficult. This is what happens when you have to pay your quarterback. He costs you on your defense. How fortunate am I that my 2 great wide receivers are inexpensive because they're old. That's where we are right now. So right now, is Quick Beam a 27 million? Is he worth 27 million? Is he worth 27 million? If he had like 5 interceptions, 8 sacks, I would say yes. But he's not producing. He's not having the game-changing plays. The impact plays are not coming from him. So I'm going to have to think through that as we go. I put him on I put him in the Hall of Fame group so that I can at least see him down the road. Did I do that with Bark? Yeah. So here's Bark. We were talking about him a little earlier. Again, 1 sack, no interceptions, and 8 or 9 tackles per game. Again, tackling machines, they're good for that. This is the most boring. We haven't even gotten to the draft yet. I'm watching the analytics of this YouTube video drop precipitously 12 minutes ago, 16 minutes ago. This indecision. So let's see. Maybe this is your team. This could be your team. No defensive lineman? Not likely. Beam will probably go, or a defensive back will probably go in place of that defensive lineman in the free agency, because we need a D lineman. Like I said to start with, I want to start prioritizing that. So let's see if the draft has anything of value. I have a 99% expectation of no value coming from this draft. So here we go. This is stinky. It's all free agency these days. Once you get to the Premier League and you're 5 to 6 seasons in, it's all free agency. The draft is total bunk. Like, there is rarely any kind of value. I was hoping that there'd be a chance at a wide receiver to develop. Warner? Nah. Eaton? Nah. Let me go back to the front page here. Is there a defensive back worth developing? Nah. Norman? Nah. I thought last season had a great team and barely got out of relegation. And now I have a lesser team. What does that mean? I can tell you what it means. All right, just for anybody that wants to know, here's what we've got: quarterback, running back, a really good. That's a great running back in my opinion. If you use running backs, that's for a draft pick anyway. Same with this guy. So we got 2 really good running backs. It's just not something I'm interested in. Nope. Now, there was another decent, like Carras. Decent potential, but okay. No wide receivers. Oh, I would take picking up a wide receiver that's got speed and stamina, even if his catching and strength are a little lower. I would consider that for sure. Ooh, look out. Yeah, it's a worthless draft. It's a totally worthless draft. 11 million for this D lineman. So I guess a thought I could have there, I could drop Bark and pick up that D lineman. Seems like a pretty poor trade, honestly. But there's no other way for me to make up. Bark is the low end of the totem pole on this team right now. And there's no other way for me to make up cap space. I'm on a 30-minute mark for this video. These are supposed to be 10-minute videos. He has no speed. He has no stamina. He's not full on tackling. You know, another way for me to look at this, I don't have a defensive lineman on there. I can kind of see how the first games of the season play to give me a true indicator as to how important the D lineman is, and see what kind of turnovers I do or don't generate with this kind of a lineup. I might do that. Play it out with what I've got, and the good news being that the defensive lineman in the free agency should be there for a number of weeks here. That might just be the way to play it, because there is zero talent here worth pursuing. Did I look at Patton already? Yeah, I did. And I already looked at these guys. This is so sickly sad. I mean, there's a guy that if his speed was full at 4 million, if you had the 4 million, that's a guy you would sit, which is what I was really hoping to do. I was hoping to pick a third round type value like this guy, this Avante Liuet, and let him sit on the bench and just gain, 10 XP per game and whatnot, even while he's not playing, and then be a backup. I've been wanting to do that for 2 years. Okay, I'm done. There is nothing here for me. The Marching Ents will not improve the roster this year. We will just pay more for fewer men, or the same for fewer men. This is so hard. You guys just watched a lot of nothing. Wormley? Nope. Blah? No. You guys just watched a lot of nothing, and I sincerely apologize. Okay, so there, there is your pared down team at the same salary, because everybody's greedy because they're talented. So, Bombadil, we're going to meet with you. Telling you, squinty-eyed smile means a lot. Oak is smiling because he got contract. We will meet with Skinbark. He's tough-skinned, thick-skinned. And now he's a softie with a squinty-eyed smile. Was that everybody? Nope. Legolas, for some reason, decided to get a little sad. Probably because he realized he's getting old. His morale is at maximum. There's a glitch? Okay. He'll be back up to full morale shortly, I'm sure. Okay. There you go. There's your team. That is the Season 13 Marching Ents. We'll kick off to SPQR here in a moment. Until then, we're going to keep on marching. You keep on marching. Peace.